All right, so up until now, we've been dealing with the idea of being a buyer's agent. Now we're gonna look at the issue of being a seller's agent. Okay? Now, here is the new listing contract. And I don't know, are the people at home seeing it?
Yeah.
Are they really? Wow, that's cool. Okay, now, something that has nothing to do with much of anything. The staff decided to make all the, what we call broker lots the same. And on the buyer agency contract, it had company license number and state license number. We made that change back in 2011 with Dodd-Frank. You just have to now on your buyer agency contract with the company license number and your license number. No big deal. That's why it's in red. Now, the other things that were added, and by the way, these were on the buyer agency contract too. I forgot to point it out to you, is that it now says no association of realtors has recommended or set the commission rate, the fee, the broker fee. It says no law or association. Why did they have to add the word no law or association? Because the settlement agreement for $414 million said we have to add the word no law or association. We had that. So there you have it. You're not even going to notice it because it's in black. Okay, when you get it. Okay, back now, we're going to come down here and we're going to go to broker's fee. Now we get to broker's fee, it's paragraph 5. Again, we have no law or association. We added the word broker's fee is a percentage of the purchase price. And by the way, that means gross purchase price, not net. Don't ever use the word net purchase price, please. What is net? The seller's got to pay his mortgage off. He's walking away from settlement with $2,200. Is that what he's paying commission on, $2,200? No, don't use the word net. Okay. You want to think about it. You might say the purchase price minus any seller assist. But we're not going to go there now. That's an old problem, an old discussion. Okay, now let's get to the part where in paragraph 5, just like your existing paragraph 5, on the existing listing contract, it asks you to fill in the amount of compensation the seller is going to pay. It's gross compensation based upon the purchase price. What I would like every one of you to do in this room is do everything you can to get the seller to agree to 6% or 5% or 5.5%. Okay. I had a seller 3 months ago, honestly, $1 million house. We agreed to list it for $950. He was my retiring doctor. I've had him for 40 years. I said, I'll do it for 5. I could have hugged him at this. My 2 daughters were with me. We were in his living room, and his wife was there. And he said, yeah, but if we only pay 5, the other agent representing the buyer is only going to get 2.5. Isn't that bad? He said, shouldn't we be giving them 3%? I said, you are so wonderful. I said, I think you're right. And I'll tell you what, we'll take your listing for 5.5%, and we'll give the other agent 3%. I've done this in my life before this. And you know what he said? He said, nah, that wouldn't be fair to you. Let's go with the 5. And we did it. And by the way, a week after we listed the property, it sold for over $1 million. Okay? Yes.
You said 5.5 would not be fair. Let's go with
5.
Yeah,
I
he
thought
came
you
back.
went back down. to
Sure,
5.
why not?
I said, I'll give you 5. He said, no, we want to give the other agent 3. And he thought I was going to say, okay, we'll sign a 6% listing. Instead, I said, okay, we'll sign 5.5%. We'll give the other agent 3, and we'll keep 2.5. And he stopped, thought about it, and then he said, that wouldn't be fair to you. Thinking that fair means half and half.
Right.
I never heard that before, but that it is true. So I said, okay, we'll take it at 5. And a week after we listed it, it sold for $1,010,000. We had multiple offers. Okay, and it's settled already, we got 2.5. Okay,
What was wrong with taking 6?
my wife is complaining. that
We're all thinking it. We're all thinking it.
I'm only telling you that some sellers are not what you think. You're talking about the sellers. I was reading the Wall Street Journal today and I only have to give you 2.5. That's what you're thinking about. So I'm encouraging you to get the seller to agree to give 5, 5.5, or 6. Are you with me?
Yes.
But you can take 2.5 or 3. So we're gonna talk about. We're going to talk about what happens when you take 5, 5.5, or 6. We're going to talk about what happens if you take 2.5 or 3. Now, Jim, Joanne, are they allowed to take 2.5?
Yes.
I hope they never do. I hope you don't see much of it. But they're going to say the agent from EXP was there a few minutes ago and he said he would do it for 2.5. Would you? And you're going to say, not really. We want you to do 5 because we want to help sell your house and get you more money. And we know that we're going to get you more money if you let us offer cooperative compensation. That's what the higher amount is. It's not about you making more money. It's about what? Offering cooperative compensation. We're going to get to that when we get to paragraph 6, but we're not there yet. We're only in paragraph 5. Okay?
Said that my future seller said that you give me the listing at 6
Right?
and it's okay with me only paying out 1%.
Are you going to do that?
No, office policy. won't-
Are you related to this guy? I mean, that's pretty wonderful.
That's what he said to me.
I like the idea of you giving 3.
How many 5 you give away?
That way, yeah, but you say to him, if another broker comes with a buyer, you may get more money if you let me give him 3. Okay, not gonna make any difference to your to your amount of commission. You give me 6 either way. But if you allow me to give 3, you might get more money for the house. I love you for giving that example because it's like my example. It sounds obtuse, but these are real sellers who are saying this. So, but we're gonna have some real sellers who say, EXP was just, yeah, I like you much better than EXP, but I'm looking out for my money and they only want to do it for 2.5. And that's when you're gonna say, yeah, they're doing it for 2.5, but they're not offering anything to the other broker. And then they're gonna say, but they explained to me how I could pay the other broker as a term of the agreement of sale, depending upon how good the agreement of sale is. And you say, I can do that too, but I'd rather you let me in advance tell them that they're gonna get 2.5 or 3, because then you're gonna allow me to put this on the for sale sign. It's gonna make the buyers want to see the house. I mean, by the way, I can't stress this enough. This idea of putting this on the for sale sign and having a pre-signed cooperative compensation agreement on the dining room table is so awesome. Because who's gonna figure it out? Yes, who else is gonna figure it out? Buyers. And they're gonna say to their agents, we like Keller. We want to see, oh, there's a new listing just came up and it's Keller Williams, and they're gonna offer us compensation. That's good. And then the agent's gonna say, you know, sometimes I wonder why I left Keller Williams to come to EXP. My friends are all back there at Keller Williams. Maybe I should go back there. Maybe they're gonna get a call from the team leader. Maybe the team leader is gonna send out text messages the way Emery Teresi is. Every time we get a new listing, a text message is going out to 5,000 agents in our marketplace. Saying we have a new listing and we're offering 2.5 or 3%. And here's the address. Please bring your buyers.
Good idea.
Text message. Okay? We need to market we are the cream of the crop. We need to market it to everyone. And that's the message we're gonna get. I'm getting into the script and I don't really want to do that right now. I want to go over the forms. So if you fill in, now here's what we're gonna do, okay? We're gonna do 2 things. We're gonna assume you fill in 6% in paragraph 5, or we're gonna assume you fill in 3% in paragraph 5. If you want to change that to 5% and 2.5, go right ahead. Change it to any number you want, but I need to communicate the meaning of the form, okay? So in a minute, we're gonna need to know. Remember a little while ago, someone asked me a question, I said, that depends what's on your listing contract. You have 6 built in here, you have 2.5 built in here. That determines how you're gonna act in certain circumstances. So we need to know. Now, after you're done filling in your 5%, what did I say, 6% or 3%, yeah? Nothing else, by the way, there's only one thing in red, there's nothing in red here, right? This is your old listing contract.
Yeah.
Paragraph 5. But paragraph 5 just became so much more important to you. The EXP is gonna have a listing contract or an addendum to a listing contract that only allows them to put 3 or 2.5 there. And for that matter, I just found out Berkshire Hathaway kind of is gonna do that, except Berkshire Hathaway is then gonna have, would you like to pay more to us? And we'll offer this cooperative compensation. Which is pretty much where we're about to go here. I'm keeping track of our competition. We're called spying. Okay? Also known as a double agent. Okay? All right, now we come to the rubber. The rubber hitting the road. The rubber hitting the road is paragraph 6 and paragraph 7. It's a new paragraph 7. Actually, that's not exactly true. It used to be. We did away with a paragraph, the one that said we're going to offer cooperative compensation and we're going to offer it to sub-agent, yes or no? We always said no. To buyer's agents, we always said yes. And to transaction agents, hopefully we always said the same thing we said for buyer's agents, because there's no such thing in my view of a transaction agent, transaction licensee coming to us through the MLS. Transaction licensee transactions are never in the MLS. They're always family transactions. Okay, well, when people know each other, it probably is not in the MLS yet. I say that, but anyway, I don't want to get bogged down in transaction licensing. I want to talk about how we are going to. Now, if you fill in 6% in paragraph 5, you're going to fill in 3% in paragraph 6A. It's the seller giving you authority to offer cooperative compensation, not by him, but by whom? By you, his listing brokerage company, to offer it to other brokers who procure or buy. And you're going to fill in 3% there, right? And once you do that, you then can put this line writer on. You then can get the cooperative broker compensation agreement signed and have it pre-filled in, saying any agent who sells this house at another company is getting 3%. You're doing what you used to do in the MLS, but you can't do it in the MLS anymore, but you can still do it outside the MLS.
Are we, as a market center, allowed to make policy that we split this
With
evenly?
Yes, you can do that in the market center.
We can do that as well.
ALC has to be, help you
Oh,
make
we
that decision.
have not made that policy.
You're taking notes, right?
Yeah.
But let's not get bogged down.
I'm leaving.
If you want to put 6% in 5 and 2.5 here, you can do it. Okay, but now here's the story. If you fill in 3% in paragraph 5, you have to fill in 0 here. Unless you intend to split that 3% with the other broker. And I didn't hear any uprising to do that in this room, right? EXP is not going to do it. I'll show you what EXP is going to do in a minute. Okay, so if you fill in 5 or 5.5 or 6 in paragraph 5, you're going to fill in some decent number in 6A. It doesn't get more simple than that, right?
Right.
You probably had this training already, right, Jim? Okay. Now, when you get to paragraph 6B, 6B is what I need for Bright MLS. Okay. No. 6B is what's allowing you to put this on the for sale sign. And have the text message going out saying we got a new listing and we're offering this. It's allowing you to market that amount outside the MLS. That's common sense. So as I'm concerned, you can practically skip over 6B with every seller. Okay? You, Mr. Seller, you agreeing to allow me to give 3% to another broker? Well, I'm gonna let them know that. How am I gonna let them know that? I'm gonna stand on the corner shouting, this house is offering cooperative compensation, yeah.
Okay, so I have a listing on the MLS, and I get a call from the place that they're asking about the profit, the compensation.
Right.
I'm allowed this. Yes, this is what we're offering.
Right, and you say, very,
Oh, but MLS is not, that's the whole point of this whole law,
not there,
right?
I'll put it on one side, not there.
So it,
So now you say you have 3% filled in here in Brookside. So they call you up and you say yes, they should say how much? You say 3%.
Right.
The net worth out of their mouth, at any good, you tell you put that in the.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I was reading right, got a phone for that?
You can stay home.
Which, by the way, you have it pre-filled in, and it's on your phone, you say, what's your talking? Okay, you want to send them a QR code, we say, click on the QR code, and then they have it here. You figure out a way how you can get it to them. Remember though, you're gonna do the same thing, and you have the buy-in. And if you can't get that answer, you're gonna have to write it in secret and say, oh, we get it.
Or you could submit a CBC if you already know that you're getting.
Only before you let it go.
Oh, right.
To the other page,
right.
okay? We're gonna get the CBC, cooperative growth compensation agreement. Now, that's the next form we're gonna put up here, by the way. So now, here's the story. I understand that Lehigh Valley Realtors did not, in their MLS, did not create a category called seller concessions.
Correct.
By the way, don't they have it for those sales? They've always had.
Yeah.
Appraisers need to know. I am neutral on this, but my Bright MLS created a field for seller concessions. So people with the settlement agreement, especially in the state of Delaware, they're concerned that sellers and agents for sellers are just gonna start offering an amount of seller concessions equal to what they would have as cooperative compensation. And that's not in the spirit of the settlement. But Wright's allowing it. Lehigh Valley's not, they're more concerned. Wright's pretty big now. But I think that in Wright, we have a duty to let all the other agents know that the seller is open-minded. That depending upon the offer you bring in, he might consider a seller concession. See, I grew up with 40 years of seller concession. 41. Where sellers give concessions to help buyers afford closing costs. Right? FHA, VA, they need money. Well, it's gone out of vogue in the past couple of years, but it's seller's market, but it's still around, it's coming back. And in fact, we used to have in this very listing, it's either paragraph 25 or 27, you're gonna remember it when I say it. You did a listing in the past year or two. When you got there, it said, is the seller offering a seller assist? And, oh, by the way, what financing is the seller willing to accept? Cash, conventional, FHA, or VA? You know those boxes? They're still there. Some people say that fair housing violations. I agree. I think we should get rid of it, but we didn't do it on this round. We mentioned it. And then right after cash, conventional, FHA, or VA, it used to say seller assist being offered. In this market, maybe some sellers with a hard to sell house were doing 2-1 buy down. You know what a buy down is?
Yeah.
Where you pay these extra points to the lender and they give a lower interest rate for the first 2 years. You can do that still. You can market the house that way. So now, here's the thing. We still have to allow the listing contract to market the house with financial incentives. Even Lehigh Valley allows you to do this. You have to put in agent remarks. Sellers offering a 3-2-1 buy down, right? You can do that today, right? You can do it next week, right? It's part of the marketing that you and the seller have decided to do to make the house more attractive to buyers. Buyers offering a free, we're offering a free home warranty. Okay, we're offering the washer, dryer, refrigerator. We're offering you the lawn tractor.
Where buyer builder is offering $10,000 credit for breakfast for you.
Finished page, right, going to the buyer, okay. Be careful, we're talk about bonuses at some point. They're in trouble because you can't accept it. Unless you get the buyer, change the buyer agent contract. Buy an amendment, buy initials, or buy a new contract. And you do it with a wet signature, okay? We're back, we keep coming back to points we've made already. Okay, so. Sellers who are working with EXP or certain brokers who don't believe in offering cooperative compensation, they're gonna get to paragraph 7. And paragraph 7A. Seven A is the traditional seller assist, a 3-to-1 buy. Okay. Paragraph 7B is where the seller is offering money, call it a seller concession, to help pay the buyer's agent's fee. And you can fill in a number there. You can fill in 2.5%, 3%. You're only going to do that if the seller has given you a 3% listing. You're not going to do it if the seller has given you a 6% listing and have him offer another 3% to pay the buyer's agent. Because when he gave you a 6% listing, you filled in 6A with the 3%. Don't do it twice, although here's the good news. Seller concessions are not obligatory. When a seller offers seller concessions, 3-to-1 buy down, seller says it's all depending upon all the terms of the offer. And seller can be like the federal government, can renege on his agreement. Okay? But when a seller gives you 6% for the listing and allows you to offer 3% to the other broker, that's mandatory.
So cooperative compensation
It's mandatory.
is mandatory, but seller concession is not.
Correct.
I always check the box and wrote in negotiable, depending on the terms and
Where?
conditions of the offer.
For cooperative compensation,
Old listing
you aren't
contract.
allowed to.
I always
The
did.
rules in the MLS says that the cooperative company, the old rules which don't exist on August 17th, said that the offer of cooperative compensation was unilateral and unconditional. You couldn't make it conditional. You broke the rules every time you did that. Don't worry. you gotta
Seller
live with it.
concessions, seller concessions I'm referring to, not
Oh,
cooperating.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant.
Seller concessions.
Yeah.
They're always negotiable.
God bless you. It's fine to do it then, it's still fine to do it. The cool thing about Bright MLS is I'm gonna have a check-off box. Bright MLS is gonna have seller concessions, yes or no, it's not obligatory. I'm always gonna tell my agents check yes.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna read that you got permission to do that in a minute. You check yes, it doesn't mean the seller's gonna pay anything, it'll be $1. It doesn't matter. Okay, but you wanna send a signal to the other agents who don't know what's going on, that your seller's off money.
May I do a recap for myself? So,
Recap.
all right, number 5 is where, we decided the seller is going to be paying Keller Williams real estate 6%. Number 6 is where it is decided between, that the Keller Williams will be paying a cooperating broker 3 out of that 6.
Yes,
However, if number 5 is filled in with 2.5,
right.
and the seller is refused or is not going to pay a cooperating broker compensation, then number 6 would be 0,
Right,
correct?
Right.
And then it would move down to number 7 in this.
and then the seller can even say, I'm considering paying 3 to the other. broker."
Exactly.
You fill
Okay,
in
so
3%.
then it would be.
That's what EXP is probably gonna spend time doing.
Okay.
So when you call EXP up, you're gonna say to them, are you offering cooperative compensation? They're gonna say, no, never. They say, yeah, but is your seller willing to give compensation, what do I think? Yes, he's willing to consider it. Depends on the price you buy off. Well, how much is he considering? Well, he might consider 3%. Okay, I don't know what they're gonna say, I'm not adding here.
Right, but that's where it would be added, that
Right.
3% would be added in number.
In
7.
7B, correct.
Good.
I want to thank her for the recap. Thank you for the recap.
Thank you for the recap. Okay,
Uh,
everybody understand the recap? It made total sense to me, after all, I said it the first time.
So wound up in other things.
Okay, you're all there? So now do you have an understanding of 7A? 7A is your traditional seller assist, which you always write, we'll consider it.
Yes.
You can still like that in 7. Keep it, you used to do it in paragraph 25, or 22, whatever it was,
Seller concessions.
not there anymore. Okay, it's here.
Right.
All right,
Negotiable.
everybody got any questions on the listing contract? Okay, now I'm gonna give you the other lesson as part of the recap. If you fill in 6% and you fill in 3% here, and someone from Keller Williams Real Estate, Northampton, sells the property, how much is the buyer's agent getting paid? The buyer's agent is Keller Williams Real Estate, you don't have to count it. they're getting paid 6% from the seller. They're getting nothing from the buyer. They're not collecting any cooperative compensation, even though it said 3% here. You can't give cooperative compensation to yourself. It's only from one broker to another. But what do you care? You're getting the whole 6%. And you're gonna create internal ALC policy as to what you're gonna do with that 6% after sell. Which, by the way, it's not an old problem, it's the same problem. We never thought about it. So the fact that maybe you never had a policy and it never reared its ugly head, maybe it's gonna start rearing its ugly head now. You're just gonna have some agent saying, well, I'm getting 6, but my seller's allowing me to give only 1. I want 5 for myself. So if an agent here at Keller Williams Real Estate knows him that sells the property, I only want to give them 1. That's gonna be a weird situation, but it might happen. Okay?
You're tabling that.
I got it.
I'm not deciding it here, okay? All right, now let's go to the agreement of sale, which is where the rubber. No, you know what, before we go to the agreement of sale, let's go to the cooperative broker compensation agreement.